Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hot Topics. It is a Monday morning. Happy that you can join us this morning. Thank you so much. It is, it's really special that you guys do this. You take your time, but also we inform you. This is your community. Make sure you hit the like and the thumbs up because it does affect the algorithm. More people become aware of our channel and our conversation. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to try something new here on. There we go. How are you? I think he's live on my feed, but I can't hear you. So you'll just be sitting there. So I've got someone, I let someone come on the TikTok feed. I don't know how that works. But anyways, hello, this is my co-host this morning. I don't know, Cent or someone. So I'll try it. Anyway, trying something new. You never know until you try. So I'm glad that you guys are here. Thank you for joining us on TikTok. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. Thank you for joining us on Instagram and on Facebook as well. We appreciate all of it. Again, as I said, if you're watching us on TikTok, smash the heart so more people can become aware. And thank you to my co-hosts who are out there. So I can't hear you because I have the volume down, but you're here. Welcome. Okay. We'll see what happens. Also, look, there have been, I watch things every day, and especially over the weekend, I watch and I try not to bother you guys. And so today, I am just flummoxed. I am kind of ticked off. I'm concerned about the politicians who are putting us in, who we have put in charge, and they don't have respect for us at all. They don't have respect for people, not even at a town hall. I'm talking about Joni Ernst, okay? Did you guys see what happened with Joni Ernst? Anybody out there see what happened with Joni Ernst? She was asked a legit question at a town hall over the weekend, then insulted people, and then chose to double down and insult people even more from her apology, non-apology. I call it the apology own, I believe, that conservatives have perfected in this moment. This sort of apology, non-apology, which is, I don't know what I'm doing here. So there we go. This apology, non-apology. I'm trying to figure out how to get the thing on my screen. There we go. So anyways, so here's the thing, okay? As we come on the air this morning, I just want to tell you about, again, why I'm so disturbed about things. You know, I think that it's a winning political message. Do you think this is a winning political message? And I'm talking about Joni Ernst, and you guys saw it. You are going to die. Is that a winning political message? You and your parents and your children will die because you decided to put me in power. That's basically what she's saying. What am I talking about? This is at town hall. It was in Iowa. At a town hall on Friday evening, Congresswoman Joni Ernst was pressed on proposed cuts to Medicaid, talking about the proposed cuts in the so-called big, beautiful bill, the healthcare program for low-income Americans, and House Republicans' big, beautiful bill budget plan. One audience member shouted, as she was talking about what they plan to do, she said, "People will die." Now, the usual politician move is to, at that moment would have been to take issue with the premise, or to, as other Republicans have strained to do, cast the Medicaid cuts as merely cutting waste and abuse, and then blame it on, as Republicans would do, blame it on, migrants or immigrants or undocumented immigrants, etc. That's not the full story, of course, because Congressional Budget Office recently projected that the House Republicans' changes to Medicaid, including work requirements for some recipients, would leave 7.6. Someone says mute my guest. Stand by for that. Would believe 7.6. Let me begin this. 7.6 million Americans uninsured by 2034. That's problematic. But Joni Ernst decided to go in a different direction. She decided to declare, well, we are all going to die, which is a brilliant message for a lawmaker who is up for re-election in 2026. Okay. That is sarcasm, obviously, on my part. Okay, saying that. That is sarcasm on my part. Stand by 1 second, guys. Hold on a second. I don't know how to do this. All righty. How do I do this? I'm trying to figure out something. You guys may have to go and come back because the person who the person who is on, I'm trying to mute them and I can't. That's why I say you try something new and boom, it doesn't really work out. So I don't really know how. Oh, there we go. Did I do it? I think I did it. Right? Drop them. Join. I think I did it. Okay. Let me know if it's still there. Yes, I did it right. Correct? Yes. Yes. Okay, good. Good. Thank you. Okay. So anyway, that I'm being sarcastic by saying, oh, that is a big that is a great message for a lawmaker. Now let me explain. This outraged me. And it was all I could do to come on and do like a an emergency stream this weekend, not to talk about this and not to blast.
You're muted, Don.
And not to use the same disgusting energy that she used with all the folks who followed her. That it took all of me not to do that. So let me talk about, I want to show you what Joni Ernst did, what she said, the context of everything that happened. I want to show it to you. Okay, here's Joni Ernst over the weekend. I believe it was on Thursday or Friday, but I didn't get to it last week. I want to, here it is. I want to play it.
Both Democrats and Republicans in the past. So when we're talking about the corrections in this reconciliation bill, again, it's corrections of overpayments and people that have not been eligible for these programs by law as it is currently written. So when you are arguing about illegals that are receiving Medicaid benefits, 1.4 million, 1.4, they are not eligible. So they will be coming off. So people are not, well, we all are going to die. So for heaven's sakes, folks. Okay, no, but what you don't want to do is listen to me when I say that we are going to focus on those that are most vulnerable.
We are all going to die. That's what she said. We're all going to die, which should be very concerning to everyone. We're all going to die. Now imagine if, imagine just saying that, especially considering the world that we're in right now, especially considering what's happening with COVID, all of those things. Imagine that. That's what you tell your constituents. How would you feel? How did you feel about that? We're all going to die. Of course, we know that we're all going to die. It is more than distasteful. It's more than buffoonery, but it is what MAGA has come to do in this day and age. Now, she got so much flack from it that she apologized. Or kind of. Watch. Tell me if you think this is an apology.
Hello, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize for a statement that I made yesterday at my town hall. I was in the process of answering a question that had been asked by an audience member when a woman who was extremely distraught screamed out from the back corner of the auditorium, "People are going to die." And I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. So I apologize. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well. But for those that would like to see eternal and everlasting life, I encourage you to embrace my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Now, did you guys notice where she was? In a cemetery. It is outrageous. And don't you think people like that should be voted out? Why is Joni Ernst still in office, especially considering her history of being on the wrong side of history on everything, voting against even her, what she called her own principles, against SA, voting for Pete Hegseth, and on and on and on. Yeah, George Payne, she's like the Grim Reaper. I call it not the Republican apology, it's the Republican sort of own. The apology, non-apology own. That has been demonstrated by many, many Republicans, mostly the MAGA folks, and most of them are MAGA now. So shall we just call the Republican Party the MAGA Party? Either someone talks, someone criticizes them on gun issues, and they stand and they shoot at targets, or they are seen at a gun range doing stuff, even shooting a gun, even in political ads. You're going to take my gun. And right after there have been school shootings or mass shootings or all of these things, and then they do it. And these are supposed to be the people who care about their constituents, who care about you and me, who care about the people who voted for them. Now, I can understand you saying, look, you could say, look, I'm sorry. Maybe you misunderstood what I was saying. Maybe you misunderstood what I'm saying, and maybe I could have been clearer. That's usually how it's done. I've done it many times. It's like, wait a minute, that's not what I meant. You took the wrong thing out of what I said. So I sincerely apologize. And that's it. And that's not what I meant. Here's what I meant. I thought that most people would understand, and the context is like, look, we all come with an expiration date, which is really, really sad. But I don't even know in that context if it was even worth going there. Why does your mind tell you to go there? Riddle me this. Why does your mind even go there? We're all going to die if someone says we're going to die. It could have been someone who had a pre-existing condition. Maybe it was someone in that audience who has been told, you know what? You've got this many days to do things. You have this long. And don't sit there and go, oh my gosh, it doesn't. No, I know it does happen because I just was involved in that. That was my personal experience recently with a member of my family who actually did pass away. So to sit there and insult people like that is just really ridiculous. Why? And then MAGA, Republicans. Should I even say Republicans anymore? I'll just say Republicans because that's MAGA right now. Then they get all bent out of shape when people call them out on it. They get really upset. Conservatives, whatever you want to call them. They get all bent out of shape if someone criticizes them, and then they say, oh, you have Trump derangement syndrome. What is any more fucking deranged than telling someone you're all going to die? We're all going to die. Do you know what? I would have said, B, I know that. Someone should have stood up and said, B, I know that. What are you talking about? Of course we're all. And if you said that to them, then it would be a threat. Oh my God, the Secret Service might be calling you if you said that to them. Is that some sort of threat? I feel like I'm threatened in my own community. That's what they would say. And so should she be reported for a possible threat? Right, Janice Clark? Janice Clark, thank you. The Secret Service or someone would be calling them saying, we take these things very seriously, telling people, what is that? That's threatening behavior. That's threatening language, telling people we're all going to die in the middle of a town hall in front of a bunch of people. That's like, what the F did you say? If you were out in the streets and someone said, you know, what you're doing is we're all going to die. And they'd be like, wait, what'd you say? I don't even know. It just bothered me so much this weekend. I said, am I even going to discuss this? Because it would infuriate me so much. This is what The Hill is reporting. This is The Hill, the article from The Hill that they're reporting about what happened. Saying Ernst responds to jeers on Medicaid cuts. We're all going to die. Now, The Hill is a somewhat, I believe, conservative outlet. Let's scroll down to the body and see what they have to say about it. So when the crowd talked over her, interrupting her, let's go to the top of it right here. There we go at the beginning of the thing. I was going to push back against constituents who shouted at her recent town hall meeting that cuts to Medicaid and Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, would cause people to die, responding, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. It's so callous. The awkward moment came at a town hall meeting on Friday in Butler, Iowa, where Ernst defended the spending reforms in a House-passed budget reconciliation package that are intended to stop people who crossed into the country illegally from receiving federal benefits. Someone in the crowd tried to talk over Ernst, interrupting her about the changes to Medicaid and SNAP yelling out that people are going to die because of the reforms. Ernst answered, we're all going to die. Now, I wonder if she's had anyone in her family she's had to deal with this. Sadly, I hope she hasn't. But I wonder, but if you have empathy, you can put yourself in someone else's shoes. Now, imagine saying that to someone who is living really at the border of falling through the social safety net, right on the fringe of falling through the social safety net. And you're saying stuff like that to them. How would you guys feel about it? Also, during COVID, I think that she had some very callous things to say during COVID as well. I'm not sure if we have a sound. Oh yeah, Joni Ernst says that she's so skeptical of COVID-19 case counts, suggesting the numbers are being inflated. Why is Joni Ernst in office? Why are people like her in office? Why is Marjorie Taylor Greene in office? And just to show you that they have no heart here. Now, you know how Nancy Mace feels about the transgender bill. Now, she's done stuff where she has done selfies and gone into the bathrooms in Congress and shot selfies. I believe she did that, or in the halls of Congress to do apologies or to explain what she meant by doubling down on ignorance. This is the same thing I'm apologizing, but I'm doing it facetiously because I'm owning the libs. Or I'm not going to apologize and I'm just going to ramp it up. This is her complaining and posting it on social media, as Joni Ernst did, for a transgender issue. This is Nancy Mace.
Because you can't erase us, Nancy. Well, then you shouldn't try to erase women. I have to say, for any man that wants to be in a woman's restroom, bathroom, dressing room, locker room, absolutely not.
That's what I mean. And MAGA eats it up. However you feel about the transgender issue, which is such a small portion of the population, it affects so few people. And you know the people, when you're talking about men being in bathrooms, you know who has committed crimes against people in bathrooms? Heterosexuals, non-transgender people. That's who's done it. It's not the transgender people doing it, because there's so few of them and they just kind of want to hide. Now, look, you can feel how you want to feel. Would I want an actual man in the bathroom with my sisters or my female loved ones? No, I think it would be uncomfortable for me, or uncomfortable for them, I should say. And maybe they feel a certain kind of way. Maybe my nieces, who are very open, probably would say, I'm sure my nieces would say something like, look, those people aren't bothering me. And I'm not afraid of them. But that's the stuff that Nancy Mace does. Also, this is just an example, because she's not the only one. Another example, and this one happens to be from Nancy Mace.
Hey, her first day as comms director is Daisy Duke's day. Yeah, that guy. It's not the first time I've ever used language with people before, and it certainly won't be the last. You don't have the right to harass me. It's not ever going to be okay. And if you want to get in my face, expect it right back, and I will record you, and I will make you famous.
And so she's saying, you want to get in my face. And then if someone gets in her face, she'll say, I feel threatened. You shouldn't be threatening people. But she's inviting people to get into her face. They're all cut from the same cloth, sadly. You remember when, what's her name? The Beach blonde, bad built butch body responded to something by posting a workout video, which really backfired. So the thing is that they want to own the libs. They want to own their critics. They want to own people who are concerned about losing services, who are concerned about losing Medicaid, legitimate concerns. This is why voting counts. And I hope that we can inspire everyone during the midterms to get out there and vote against these people. I don't care what political ideology, what party you belong to. The current batch of MAGA folks who are in office right now are just gross, are just disgusting. The current batch of MAGA folks are just gross. And there's no other way of putting it. That may disturb some people. Oh my gosh, you have Trump derangement syndrome. You're speaking out against the MAGA folks. Well, how can you speak out against half of the population? I don't believe it's half of the population. I think it's a big part. I think it's a sizable part of the voting public, but I don't believe that it's half of the country, as they like to put it. We're going to continue to talk about this, and I'm going to show you some other examples coming up in just a bit. In the meantime, we need to take a break and get a word from our sponsors right now. Okay? Are you a yo-yo dieter? That's a question. You diet, you lose weight, but gain it all back, plus a few extra pounds. Then later you lose it and you regain it again and again. Okay, it's summer. That's going to happen. You're going to be out partying. You're going to have some cocktails. You're going to be at the barbecue. You're going to be out, invited. Are you invited to the cookout? You're going to be eating all of those things. But yo-yo dieting is really dangerous. Studies show that it can increase your risk of heart attack, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and other health problems. Breaking free of your yo-yo diet pattern is a main reason doctors created Lean. Lean, it's L-E-A-N, is a supplement, not an injection, and you don't need a prescription for it. The science behind Lean, here it is, and see, I use it. Everything I put on here, I'm going to tell you, and you guys say, hey, look, I've been using. You guys say, hey, Don, you look, I've lost some weight. All right. It's the science behind Lean is impressive. It studied natural ingredients, targets weight loss in 3 powerful ways. Lean helps to maintain healthy blood sugar. It helps to control appetite and cravings, and it helps to burn fat by converting fat into energy. Listen, if you're tired of losing weight and gaining it back, if you want to lose meaningful weight at a healthy pace, Lean was created for you. Okay. Again, I told you, I'm not going to put anything I don't try here. So let me get you started with a 20% off when you enter Lemon20, Lemon 20 at takelean.com. Takelean.com. The code is Lemon20, Lemon20 at takelean.com. Also, support for today's program comes from Beam. I have one that's open over there, but this is the chocolate flavor. And then there's another one that's like a red flavor that we have, or a brown. I think it's a brown that we have. Anyways, it's great. Summer's almost here. Let's be honest. That doesn't mean that we can slow down and that we can take a break. The news cycle is relentless. Every day we get served up with new outrage designed to overwhelm us, like I've been telling you about, and take us out of the fight. This is the right trying to scare us, okay? They want us to get burnt out, tune out, and what's happening, and they want us to roll over. So, but we can combat that. We can counteract that by waking up every day ready, refreshed, and energized. That's why I turned to Beam. It is a dream powder. It's a natural sleep blend designed to help you get the deep restorative rest your body and mind need to stay in the fight. Because here's the truth. You cannot sustain the fight without rest. Burnout serves the people in power who love nothing more than to see you exhausted and checked out, okay? With science-backed ingredients like reishi, magnesium L-theanine, and apigenin, and melatonin, Dream helps you to fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up ready to organize, resist, and raise hell without the fog, like we're going to do today, or the crash. The results, since I started using Dream, my focus has come back. My energy has returned. I'm ready to face the day, ready to stand up for the things that matter. And I'm not the only one. Beam's Dream Powder has improved over 17.5 million nights of sleep for people all across the country. Okay. Right now, Beam is offering up to 40% off their best-selling Dream Powder for my listeners. It's a limited time offer and the perfect way to overcome that exhaustion and stay in the fight every day. Go to shopbeam.com and use the code LEMON at checkout. That's shopbeam.com /lemon and use the code LEMON at checkout for up to 40% off. Sleep well, wake up ready. The fight continues, everyone. So thank you for that from our sponsors. Let's get back to the program, okay? So speak Joni Ernst and others, okay? I want to go to, this is Chris Murphy on the CNN with my friend Dana Bash talking about Joni Ernst. Well-deserved criticism too. Here it is.
everybody in that audience knows that they're going to die. They would just rather die in old age at 85 or 90 instead of dying at 40. And the reality is that when you lose your health care, you are much more at risk of early death. And when rural hospitals close because of this bill, when drug treatment clinics close in Iowa and rural America because of this bill, more people will die at a younger age. So the reality is this bill is about life and death. And for what? I mean, I guess that's the problem here for many of us, is that they're cutting Medicaid, throwing 15 million people off their health care in order to fund a tax cut for the super wealthy and for corporations. That is just fundamentally immoral. It's immoral and it's unethical. I don't understand why they're doing it, except that Donald Trump only really knows billionaires. He only knows corporate CEOs. And so his instructions to Republicans are reward them, help them, and no one else. I wish Joni and others saw the immorality of what they're doing.
I do want to ask.
Yeah, and it is immoral. I'm glad he said that. I wish that they saw the immorality or see the immorality, but as a matter of fact, they don't. Look at her response. And I would say to Chris Murphy, he says, well, I wish that they did, but they don't. And they're not even trying. They're not even trying to be empathetic. They're not even trying to see the immorality of what they are doing. Representative Dan Goldman speaking out about Joni Ernst as well.
Would be the Republican mantra. That's effectively what they believe. They don't think that our safety net programs are worthwhile. They think tax cuts for billionaires are far more important than making sure children can eat. That's where their priorities lie. That's what this reconciliation bill did. And in combination, as you point out, with the tariff tax, which is just going to increase prices, it's going to increase inflation, and so many more millions of Americans not getting healthcare, not getting food assistance, it is going to result in people dying because of Republican policies. And you see how much they care from Joni Ernst, which is not at all. Right. Because we're all going to die. So who cares if you die sooner rather than later? You aren't worthy of being in this country and seeking the American dream. And that, in combination with this immigration policy, which is basically just a xenophobic attack on foreigners, that's who the Republican Party is today. It is people who no longer believe that the American dream exists, no longer believe that we are a country of immigrants where people come for freedom, for liberty, to pursue the American dream. That's not what they're looking for. They are just looking to give the haves even more and to try to go back to the 1950s in where the world of white supremacy. And that's the Republican Party. What she just said encapsulates how the Republican Party acts. She just said it out loud. Most of them don't, but their actions fully support what she just said.
Dan Goldman is 100% right. I've been saying this entire live stream, they don't care. She just said it out loud. And the thing is, she said it out loud and then she doubled down on it and then re-insulted, then continued to insult her constituents, the American people, by saying we're all going to die. I'm sorry you're not smart enough to understand what I mean by that. I'm sorry that you're so stupid that you don't realize that everyone is going to die one day. I think we all get that, Joni Ernst. I think we get it. But I think what we're sick of are people like you who don't give a shit about their fellow man and who are in office. I will say it again. Why is Joni Ernst an elected official? Why are people voting for someone like that? And perhaps, obviously, that is what they want. And so what does she do? She serves them up what they want. And maybe the cruelty is the point, not just on her part, but for the people who support her. The people who claim to be Christians, who claim to love Jesus, but then want to take away funding and money from the least of these. And then Joni Ernst wants to co-sponsor that, sign it, and put it into law. Because what? Because they don't care. Because it keeps her in office. Because she believes that she's better and smarter than everyone, people who don't realize that we're all going to die. But this weekend, it was so infuriating. And then just the callousness of it. And that the fact that she took a phone and went into a cemetery, not only desecrating the graves and the people who are in the cemetery, not insulting people, but then desecrating the graves of the people in the cemetery. Probably some who had lost their lives serving this country. Probably many of them who had had used the social safety net in their lifetimes. And there she is, who took a phone. It deserves criticism. It deserves mocking. Our friends over at the Bulwark, I believe, did a good job of it.
Okay,
where do you want to begin? Yeah, go
well,
for
you
it.
start. Yeah, I don't know about you, but when I started seeing, I was like, oh, okay, like she's gonna be like contrite about it, and I'm glad. But wait a second, is that a fucking cemetery? Like, that was like my first reaction was like, is that a tombstone? And then there's something a little bit off. I don't know if you picked up on it. The camera. It was like oddly steady, but she was kind of moving on it, but like the camera stayed put and there was like a weird closeness. She was like very close to it.
Yeah.
And the way she was talking was so creepy to me when she had that pregnant pause. She's like, yes, we are all going to perish. I was like, oh my God.
Perish is just I would like to just sit on the word perish for a second. That's like the darkest way to the word you could possibly choose to describe death. Also,
yeah.
It's like I don't want to think about perishing. What is the camera? I want to also get to the comment, but now that you mentioned it, what is so she's just holding the phone very close to her
that's
face?
What I want to know. She's either holding it or it's propped up on something. But if you watch it, it doesn't quite move. It's her that's moving. So she's either got the steadiest selfie. Maybe she was doing a selfie stick thing. I don't know. The whole thing was weird. And the zoom on her face was very odd. And it felt sort of like, I don't know. She was like what's the patron of death or whatever it is. Like she was coming to kill you.
Yeah. I've never seen her pores before. You know,
well,
like
she was using camo. You know?
She is so
portrait
close.
Mode. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, that part is very strange, and it's unsettling. I guess my point is it's unsettling. Like that would be an unusual setup to be that close to the camera if you were talking something fun. But Cory Booker does this, right? And that is, I'd also find that kind of unsettling. I've mentioned it to him, I think, during the interview. It's like
or like your AOC in your living room cooking like mac and cheese, but not in a fucking cemetery.
Yeah, but I also don't want your face like right there.
Okay, so here's the thing, though. Probably, look, either she was doing it right and she doesn't really understand it, right, because she's a boomer, or she had her husband or her family member there going like that. And that was the video that she used, someone taking her thing. I bet you that's what it was. So wouldn't have someone said, Mom, Grandma, honey, are you sure this is a good idea? Because you remember Aunt Susie just passed not long ago, right? Someone said you could smell her breath in the video. Hilarious. That is hilarious. Look, I don't know. Look, I think it's we can laugh at it. It's laughable, I should say, that these folks are still in office, that these folks are in office and that they don't get it. So again, what do you do about it? What do we do about people like her who deserve mocking? What do we do about people like her? I don't know. This is what people are concerned about when we're saying, and Joni Ernst says, we're all going to die. Yeah, she's right. And especially if you look at what is happening. You have the Department of Health and Human Services. This is a Notice article. You have them citing fake studies, bogus information, that could cost people their lives? Imagine that. You put up a fake study, the MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, so-called folks. That report that's supposed to make America healthy is citing studies that don't even exist. And then when Caroline Levitt is asked about them, she says, oh, this is medicine or science that has previously been ignored by America, which means what? It has no credibility, and whoever did it has no qualifications or it does not exist. And then the Washington Post is citing the Health and Human Services, the Department of Health and Human Services is canceling bird flu vaccines and canceling pandemic preps. So when Joni Ernst says we're all going to die, perhaps that's what she means by pointing out all of the crazy shit that they're doing that could cause people to die. Yes, good medicine. Thank you in the chat for saying that. Not good science, but good medicine. I just wonder, Trump administration ends program critical to search for an HIV vaccine. We're all going to die. Stopping pandemic prep and limiting bird flu vaccine. We're all going to die. Studies that cite reports that don't exist, or reports that cite studies that don't exist. We're all going to die. So maybe Joni Ernst is right. And who's behind this movement? For all of us dying. We're all going to die. Back to the program in just a moment. I want to take time out right now to get a word from one of our sponsors. And yes, you are right, everyone. We do have to get a word from our sponsors in. And by the way, Nikki, did I miss our first sponsor? I did. So I got to get it right. We have to put our first sponsor in. Okay, so support for today's program, The Don Lemon Show, is brought to you by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. It is summer, campfires, late night conversations, people swapping stories, but lately one group is trying to control the whole story, claiming the U.S. was founded as a Christian nation and pushing their religion into classrooms, courtrooms, and even your doctor's offices. In Arizona, voters just protected abortion rights in the state constitution, but politicians are trying to undermine it anyway. Texas is pushing bills to force the 10 Commandments into every public school classroom. Seriously, they're doing all of this stuff. And in Congress, a bill just passed to strip Medicaid coverage for gender-affirming care for all ages. This isn't about personal beliefs, it's about power. And it's all happening under the banner of Christian nationalism. That is going to be, I believe, could be the death of us, meaning the country, the death of this country. I don't mean literal people dying, but the death of democracy. That's where the Freedom from Religion Foundation comes in. They have been defending church-state separation since 1978, before a lot of you were even born. And they've been defending it in the courts, in the schools, and wherever religion tries to take the wheel. If you believe government should serve everyone, not just the religious right, make sure you join them. Join ffrf.us/freedom or text my name, Don, to 511-511 and become a member today. Join us and go to ffrf.us/freedom and text Don, D-O-N, to 511-511 now, because the only story that should run this country is ours, not theirs. Text fees may apply. And thank you to our sponsors. Look, I think it's interesting. I think it's funny. Look, that this is from, what is it? The what do you call it? The whatables? I forget. Who's talking about a Shrek. This is what people are posting about what Joni Ernst said, and they're using a clip from the movie Shrek. Here it is.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
That's Joni Ernst. That's the country we are living in right now. Making a sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make. It's the truth. And speaking of, we have someone in office. who is amplifying this weekend, that Joe Biden is a clone and had been taken over for a time that he was in the Oval Office. And this is what Donald Trump is posting and reposting or whatever it is. There is no Joe Biden executed in 2020. Biden clone doubles and robotic engineered soulless, mindless entities are what you see. Democrats don't know the difference. So basically he's saying that Joe Biden was unalived and that it is a clone of Joe Biden and robotically engineered, soulless, mindless entities that you're seeing now. And this is what the leader of the free world is, as Donald Trump is talking about. And people have the nerve to write about and talk about the so-called mental decline of Joe Biden. Joe Biden is living rent-free in his head, Carol Jones, but why are they out there losing their minds, clutching their pearls about Joe Biden, who is no longer in office, an old man who we knew was old? I am embarrassed that this is my country, says Sharice Counts, and I am with you 100%. I am embarrassed as well that this is our country. The cult is going to eat it up, says Alicia. I agree with you, or Lisa. I agree with you 100%. Now, if you're 12-year-old or 14-year-old put something like this on social media, you would take their phone away. You would take their phone away and not give them phone privileges for weeks. And you would say that is just immature. And yet that is the person that they elected to office to post shit like this. I get so tired, guys. Like sometimes I'm like, do I even want to come on and talk about this? Because he wants it, or they want to elevate it. They want people to spread it. But as we said, we talk about in our editorial meeting, he is the president. So I try not to bombard you with all of the crazy bullshit that he does and everything that he posts. This was the original reason for spreading misinformation and things like this, that he was kicked off of social media platforms. And now those social media platforms are settling with him for tens of millions of dollars because he is back in power, because they allow him back in these spaces and they don't hold him accountable. Can you please hold him accountable? And can you please hold the politicians like Joni Ernst and Nancy Mace accountable? You've got to vote in the midterms. You've got to get out there and you've got to stand up for it. You have to be informed. That's what we're going to try to do on the 23rd at City Winery. D.L. Hughley and I are going to do a kind of dinner theater kind of thing. We're inviting you to come to City Winery on June 23rd at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. on June 23rd at City Winery in New York City. And we may take this all across the country. So you can get the link. We'll put the link at the top of the chat. Or, yes, someone says, Don, we need to know. We do need to know. Or you can just search Don Lemon and D.L. Hughley, City Winery, New York City, and come out. We're going to inform people. We're going to make you laugh. We're going to listen to you. We're going to have a few cocktails. We're going to eat. And we're going to get our house in order. In many ways, the House of Representatives, the house that we live in, that is this country, the house that is your mind. And we're going to tell you what you are, the misinformation that you're getting. Tickets are selling out. So if you want to see it, come. And if this goes well, we're going to take it around the country. Okay. Someone says, I got mine. We will come. You got to get folks to buy the tickets here, though, so that we can inform people and we can put on the best show that we can. So again, the tickets are selling out fast. So the 23rd, that's not far away. We would love to come to Texas. We would love to come to Detroit. We'd love to come to Atlanta. We'd love to come to Philadelphia, who said that in the chat. We'd love to come to San Francisco. We'd come to California, no problem. But if we come, will you come? That's the question. We'd love to go to Florida because Florida they need us in Florida. Denver, we know, needs us as well. So Oklahoma for sure in the chat. So check out the top of the chat, and it's got a link. If you go to the top of the chat here on the Don Lemon Show that you're watching on YouTube, go to the thing. Or if you're watching us on TikTok, you're watching us on Instagram, or if you're watching us on Facebook, just go and search Don Lemon DL Hughley, City Winery, New York City. We would love to come to whatever town that you're in. I'm just this morning, I'm so flummoxed. I don't know what to do and what to talk about. Let me just be honest with you guys. I don't know if you guys have noticed, like I have not been my 100% self. I have not been posting as much. I have not been on Substack as much. And yes, let's talk about Ukraine, guys. Can we get the information on what Ukraine did? Because folks want to know, and we can talk about it real quick before I leave you guys. I'm not going to leave you, except I'll give you a moment. But you know why? I don't have the energy. After, I share with you guys, maybe way too much, but after the death of my sister, I just sometimes I don't even want to get out of bed in the morning. But I come here and I talk to you guys, and this morning I was like, I got to go and I have to do a live stream, and how am I going to do all this stuff today? And I looked up in the tree. There was this red bird, or this cardinal, just chirping away. And I was on the phone with my team this morning. And I told them, we were in the middle of a talk, and I said, hold on, I got to call you back. And they were like, I'm sure they were saying, what are you, crazy? They don't even know what happened. And so I just took my phone because I can't videotape while I'm on with them. And so I just videotaped this cardinal in the tree. And you know what they say when the cardinal when you see a cardinal or a red bird, right? That is someone who's looking out for you, or someone who is visiting you. And so I believe it was my loved one. And so, I took some video of that and I sent it to my family. Renee J says, that's your sister. I believe it. I mean, I'd never heard a red bird chirp like that. It was like and it stood there. Usually when you come out and you get close to them, they fly away. This one did not. And I just kept looking up in the tree going, why is that loud? And they actually commented and said, you have some really beautiful or loud birds or something chirping in your backyard. And I was like, I looked up and there was this big giant red cardinal right above my head. I have written on Substack a whole, I've written and rewritten and rewritten and written this thing about my sister but I just find it too personal to post. I can't put it up there right now. You know what I mean? And so it takes every bit of me to come out here every single day and do this twice a day. It's really tough. Sometimes I just want to lay on that couch right there and just watch TV and zone out. Yeah, that's the honest truth. So I guess that is what grief is all about. But you just have to, I guess, push yourself. I've been pushing myself through it. And so I'm going to talk to my therapist about it. I'm going to talk to you guys about it because I think that does help. So you guys understand that? Yeah. And if I'm not here, then what is the Don Lemon Show? So I have to be here and I have to do this, but I have not been 100% on, and it's just tough. Yep. Okay. Enough of that. Maybe I'll put the bird on there for you. I'll let you hear it because it was really loud this morning. Where is it? I'm not going to send it to you, but where is this? Where is this darn bird that was in the tree this morning? Can you guys hear that? And it wouldn't go away. It made me look up when they said to me on the phone when we were doing our thing, they said, wow, that bird, we can hear the birds. And I just looked up because I didn't see it. So as they say, the Lord works in mysterious ways, right? Andy, let's put this up. So thank you guys for understanding. I like to be honest with you. I really love to be honest with you. So, and if you want to talk to me about that, by the way, put up the thing again. If you want to talk to me about this and other things about how I'm doing and how you're doing, because every time I do a live like private stream, everybody, it's like therapy that we all need. So come out and see us. And the tickets are not that expensive. And I promise you're going to have a good time. We're going to hear from you. Okay. So come see us. City Winery on June 23rd. DL and DL, anything goes. Okay. So let's see. This is what happened in Ukraine. You know, Donald Trump likes to say Ukraine has no cards. They insult Zelensky in the White House. Ukraine, this little country that does not have the power, the money, the political might of Russia, but they have the will. And when you have the will, anything is possible. Ukraine launches a massive drone strike on air bases deep inside Russia. And guess what? They had been planning this for months. And you know what? No one went on to the fucking Signal or texting platform and gave the shit away. No one did that. But our government, our folks who are running our government, they did. This probably would have been, they would have sunk something like this because they're texting on platforms. The picture shows soldiers and artillery crew of the Streletsky, I can't say that, Special Forces Police Battalion, the main department of the National Police in Zaporizhia. Now, I can't say that because I was there covering in the Zaporizhia region. Prepare for a combat mission in the Zaporizhia region of Ukraine. Ukraine launched an unprecedented drone strikes deep inside Russia, targeting dozens of strategic bombers at several bases, according to Ukrainian officials and videos published on social media. Why it matters? The wide-ranging attack took place shortly before Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced he is sending a delegation headed by Minister of Defense, whatever his name, Rustem Umerov. Ceasefire talks with Russia in Istanbul on Monday. It matters because members of our administration, including the president, they believe that somehow Ukraine must relent. That Ukraine has, according to them, no cards. That Ukraine should be thanking the United States. That Zelensky should be more humble as he comes here, more contrite. That he somehow has to beg and bend the knee, as the U.S. media is doing, as business leaders are doing, as heads of corporations are doing, heads of media companies, that they have to bend the knee. Well, Zelensky showed them some shit. And yes, he bombed some people. And I don't like war, but his country was invaded. And what's he to do? Let all of his people die? David versus Goliath. David always wins. So guys, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for putting up with me. I appreciate it. Thank you for understanding where I am in my life right now. And again, I'm trying. Some days are good. Some days are really good. And some days are really fucking bad. Yeah. So look, I'm going to see you today at 5 o'clock Eastern time. We're live at 5. Okay. So make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Smash the screen, as they say, if you're watching us on TikTok, if you're watching us on Instagram or on Facebook. So follow all of our social stuff. Okay. What someone says, it's ready. That must be something. Okay. So anyway, I want to show you something because this is Pride Month. I didn't even put up a Pride picture yesterday. I just didn't have the energy or the will to put it up. I'm going to do it, I guess, today. So welcome, Pride. Thanks for supporting us, guys. Your generous support means everything to us. It's how we stay out here streaming. You know, sometimes I used to come to you guys. Not sometimes. A lot. I used to come to you guys and I would do like impromptu lives, especially on weekends. You remember, you know, all the karaoke and all that stuff. I just haven't been able to do it. I promise you, I will do it. I'll get back to Don soon. But thank you, Ronald Barnett Jr. Thank you for supporting independent media. We appreciate it. Thank you to Simi. Because of Simi's generosity, 20 people get to become members of Elimination. Simi's in these chats every single day on these lives supporting us. Simi, like Jimmy, thank you. I love you. Blue Magnolia, thank you for your generous support. Rebecca Conklin, because of Rebecca's generosity, 20 people get to become members of Elimination. Maureen Marthel, thank you for your very generous support. And thank you for just your emotional support as well, guys. I appreciate it. Reigning Queen 1975, welcome to the Elimination. Welcome to all of our new members. And it's the summer's usually lean. People dial out, but we're going to be here. We're going to do some fun stuff. We're going to get your spirits up. We're going to, first of all, we're going to show up at City Winery on the 23rd, and we're going to take you through this summer. We're going to get you through it. Look, you remember what was happening last summer? We had a whole election that we were dealing with. We were dealing with town halls and following politicians, right? And people dropping in and dropping out. And then all of a sudden, Joe Biden dropped out. Boom. Oh my gosh. Threw a monkey wrench into it. And then Kamala Harris came in. Well, first of all, we had the debate and we were all horrified, like, oh my gosh, what has happened? Remember? And so we'll see what happens this summer. I just don't want you guys to get so, just so used to it or inured by all of the stuff that is just being, you're being bombarded with, and you just kind of get used to it and you dial out. Don't do that. You can't do that. You have to continue to press through it, and you have to continue to come in. You do have to continue. I'm telling you, not just me. You have to support independent media. And that's why this morning I ran a clip from my friend Brian Tyler Cohen and from any of the folks who we love, like the Midas Touch and Brian Tyler Cohen and David Pakman. And for all of the folks and then soon when Joy Reid comes to this platform, and with Mehdi Hassan, you got to support, and with Jim Acosta, you have to support independent media, okay? Because that is going to be your lifeline without corporate influence and without people just fighting just to fight, okay? So make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's very important, guys, to build our subscribers up so we continue here. And I will say welcome to Lomax. Lomax, welcome to the Lemon Nation. Thank you for your membership. We appreciate it. We're glad that you're here. Okay. And thank you to all our members. We'll see you here at 5 o'clock. As I always say, turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.